Now, Frank, what are your thoughts on Mark Carney removing Stephen Guilbeault as environment minister before the election, and then saying he's canceling the consumer carbon tax, but then greenlighting the candidacy of Gregor Robertson?
Our economy is thriving. We've seen big growth in green jobs. We're seeing clean tech industry booming, and I think that's directly connected to carbon pricing.
And make sure that Vancouver is not becoming an oil port rather than the greenest city in the world. That this is a huge showdown.
An action plan to be the greenest city in the world by 2020. And that means targets, big goals, getting our emissions down, basically stopping the burning of fossil fuels.
You know, it just speaks to how Mark Carney is really speaking out of both sides of his mouth. We really don't know where he stands on anything. We don't know where he stands when it comes to ethics disclosure. We don't know where he stands when it comes to pipelines. He says one thing in the West and another thing in Quebec. We really don't know where he stands on anything. He did keep Stephen Guilbeault in cabinet, but now he is touting somebody like Gregor Robertson as a star candidate. And when you think of a star candidate, you think of somebody that really aligns with the values of the leader. So if these are his values, while he's really trying to bring the party to the center, we really don't know where he stands. But he does tell us a little bit. And he does that by appointing people like Gregor Robertson. Let's not forget that this is somebody who oversaw unprecedented homelessness in Vancouver. Housing taxes went up by 141% under his watch. House prices up 149% under his watch. And this is the person that Mark Carney is handpicking for Vancouver residents.
He also famously promised to end street homelessness by 2015.
Homelessness must end, and I tell you today that it will end.
He now says he doesn't regret saying it, even though homelessness numbers recently went up.
Don't regret setting a big goal to end homelessness. I think we have to continue working relentlessly to do that.
Particularly starting in 2015, but also under Gregor Robertson's time as mayor, was an increase in a desire to provide free drugs to people.
You have to take a healthcare approach to drug addiction, frankly. The war on drugs approach has not worked anywhere. A healthcare approach is what is going to do it.
So when you talk about what are we seeing in Kamloops, we're probably seeing it a bit more on the small scale, but we are seeing it. We're seeing that people are turning to these free drugs. They're turning to diverted drugs, and nobody is coming home safe and drug-free. Now, you contrast that with Pierre Poilievre's plan. We don't want to flood the streets with free drugs. We want to flood the streets with treatment so that people can come home to their loved ones drug-free, so that they can be contributing members of society, paying taxes, getting good paying jobs, sometimes in the resource sector. And those resource sector jobs, too, are something that Gregor Robertson has opposed at every single turn. As mayor, he spent money, Vancouver mayor, opposing pipelines. Now, I don't know why he was using tax money as a mayor opposing those pipelines. Instead, rather than having Canadian jobs delivering a safe, clean Canadian product, people in Europe and the rest of the world are turning to coal, or they're turning to natural gas from places like Qatar and Russia, rather than Canada. Again, this is the Carney tradition. This is the Trudeau tradition. This is the Liberal tradition, and this is something that Robertson has cheered on all along. He's just not worth the risk of what he plans to do and what he will do to further this Liberal agenda.